Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. And the journey continues today, March 27th, 2021, at roughly 2:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You know, things are really screwy with me a lot of the time. Now, I've spent my entire life trying to fit in, and I'm sure there are a lot of you that have spent your entire life trying to figure out where you fit in. Well, here's what I found out. First and foremost, don't. Okay. Absolutely follow the laws of the land in which you are. Okay. There is no question at all. When a law is built, whether you agree with it or not, is not the relevant concern. The concern is it's law. It is imperative you follow it unless you want to deal with annoying consequences. Now, personally, I don't deal with the vertical bar scene very well at all. I didn't deal with the alcohol bar scene very well either, but I went through it. Fortunately, I've kept out of the vertical one. So here's the reality, the way that I see it. Number one, let's start with the basics. Okay, this whole concept that people run with of who the elite are and who's running the world and who does this and they're all to blame for it, scrap the whole 9 yards. Elite people are simply the best in their industry or in their circle. Now that being said, the elite, yes, I have no doubt there are people out there with a staggering amount of money. Frankly, I'm not one of them. However, compared to what I had 6 months ago, I am phenomenally rich. Okay, I used to struggle all the time trying to figure out which bill I didn't have to pay or which bill I could put off until such time as I could get my rent paid. It was like, I'd have to look at it and go, I really desire to do this, and I've got the money to do it, but I have to hold off because I've got to make absolutely certain my paycheck that my rent gets paid. Above all else, I had to keep a roof over my head. Okay. Now, the reality of it is, okay, that was then. And I could continue looking backwards and go, oh, I've been through such a terrible thing and I've had terrible complications. I mean, let's face it. Verified by my father, I don't have medical proof for it, but confirmed by my father on his deathbed. Okay, I used to be epileptic. I was colorblind. I was diagnosed dead when I was 5 years old and walked out of the morgue. Now, this is what my father told me. Okay, now he's not around to ask, so sorry, I'm on my own on that one. However, bankrupt twice. Okay, the list goes on. I felt as a kid that I was quite literally an outcast amongst outcasts. I missed a lot of life because of trying to figure out how to fit in. And I finally came to the conclusion I don't. Okay, I do, however, belong here. This planet, the same one that you're living on, the same one that countless millions, well, frankly, billions of other people, and quadrillions when you take a look at the way I see people, all life has meaning. All life matters. Okay, so when we talk about the people that are elite, okay, take a look at the people around you that you know that regardless of what they're going through will reach out to help somebody. Now there is an elite person in my eyes. The one that looks at you and goes, you need help, I can help, I'm going to. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care who you call God or what you call God. I don't care who you vote for. It matters in as much as it's free will, and that is something everybody has. But when we start talking about whether you're rich, whether you're poor, I tell you, I used to struggle a staggering amount. Today, debt free, my bills come in, I go, oh, it's a bill. And I go to my bank and I pay the thing off. I have gotten rid of a staggering number of excess stuff. Now, yes, I've got junk around me. I've got odds and ends all over the place, and we'll get to that later. But where it comes to success, I have reached a phenomenal level. Now, I've had complications with a lot of people. Okay, now, today, I am standing here and I can tell you, success is. Now, I was told growing up, okay, no man is an island unto himself, meaning you have to have help from other people at some time. Everybody does. Okay, there is not a soul out there that doesn't require help at some point. Be it help from within, as in turning and praying to whatever you call God and asking for His strength, turning to your friends, turning to your spiritual guides, and we'll get to that. Okay, but everybody requires help at some point. Now, I've made some mistakes. I'm certain I have disappointed other people. Much more importantly, I've disappointed myself in a lot of ways. I'm just about 58 years old, but thanks to your guys' help, okay, what has happened is I've managed to get myself into a routine where I'm actually getting videos up and running. And it's absolutely amazing to me. Today is the 21st day in a row that I've managed to get a video out, okay, on the same topic. Okay, I managed to get a daily video out for 21 days. This is, to me, absolutely amazing. Now, I mentioned some time ago the average time to build a habit. Okay, the average time to create a habit and or break one is 21 days. We've hit that mark. Okay, from here on out, we go forward. And to think, I had set a personal goal for myself to have things organized by April 1st of this year. Now, a couple of years ago, my mom passed away. Okay, a few years before that, my father did. So the people that I could turn to and talk to, get the guidance from, and we had our odds, do not get me wrong. They're gone. I quite literally thought I was on my own. However, something has turned out absolutely remarkable. And I have a few things I've got to deal with there, but the important factor that is absolutely imperative that people realize, I have reached a level of success in my life that I honestly never thought I would get to. It has been through the intervention and through the help, often against my will, in all fairness, which created its own problems, but it has been with the help of others and the encouragement of people such as yourselves that I have got to this point. Now, where do I go from here? Well, I've got my goal. Okay, for me, $2,000 will run my household. My rent, my utilities, the roof over my head, food, insurance, all of it's covered with the 2,000. So, to encourage that to continue happening on my wall, I literally have, okay, for my household, I literally have a sign that says we have legally attained a minimum of $2,000 by March 31st, 2021 at 1 minute to midnight. Now, I encourage you very strongly to put that in your own area wherever you have your finances dealt with. Okay, every month on the first of the month, change that date to the last day of that month that you're now entering. Okay, and we'll get to that in a few days when we get to the first day of April. The second sign I have up, and I've got this one is over on that wall, and it says I am worth it. The second one is in my kitchen on the fridge. It also says I am worth it. Now, this said, Those are the motivators. Those are the things that keep me focused. Plus, of course, his sign in the back, that little sheet on the wall, that's my business license stating that Inner Voice Enterprises does deal in consulting, in psychic work, in publications, okay, and in paraphernalia. Okay, this is just what keeps me active. Okay, and needless to say, bearing in mind the time of day, my schedule's a little screwy. I actually went to bed at about 10:30 last night. Now, needless to say, when you think of, well, went to bed at 10:30, I was up. I've actually been up for, I guess, just over an hour, but I was watching a movie. And realistically, what the heck? I mean, I'm going to be up for a while. By the way, mine is not a pace you necessarily want to follow. I did figure out something though. A lot of people had told me that they need 8 hours of sleep, or people need 8 hours of sleep. Well, I'll tell you, it's a good place to start. And when you're younger, you definitely need more sleep. This is pretty cut and dried. However, okay, I worked it out. If you're getting 8 hours of sleep, I use that as a baseline. And then I figured, well, what would happen if you cut your sleep to 4 hours a night if your health doesn't suffer and you don't lose quality of life? Well, I thought I was just doing a calculation. Okay, but what I found out was if you cut it to 4 hours, and do your own math. Okay, if you cut it to 4 hours a night, you gain roughly a month and a half living time. Okay, now myself, the mood I'm in right now, assuming my stress level stays low, this is pretty much the mood I'm in. Okay, I have absolutely upset people over the past. I have had some very disappointing encounters. You too have undoubtedly had problems. Now, the reality is this: how you got to where you are is not half as important as what you do with where you are now. How do you handle your life from this point? I only talk about three laws. Okay. And all of them are what I've come to understand are karmic laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, in a video down the road, one of these ones, I will undoubtedly go into a long explanation of each one of those. Actually, come to think of it, I think what I'll do here, where is it? Now, you've seen this before. This is my pad of notes for me to follow. So what we're going to do here is just mark down the fact that I am going to make absolutely certain I get these out at some point. I'm not putting a deadline on this at this point, but okay, what I am going to do is make certain that I cover them. Because for me, that's a goal, and when I get it on this sheet of paper, this doesn't guarantee everything goes right. All it does is gives me a focal point. Okay. I encourage you to do the same thing. Now, I tell you what I got told when I was younger. I was talking to a very successful man, and he told me and he pulled the list out of his pocket, right? Actually, out of his wallet, but same idea. Opened it up and he showed me, and he had a long list of goals on it. Okay, just little tasks he was doing, including the one that was on his list when I met him, which was he had marked down lunch. He wrote down that he wanted to take, that he had to have lunch. So what he said was you write down three goals, and you start with whatever you're looking at, which is why that went there. Okay, start off with three goals, whatever you're looking at. Get one finished, check it off, and write down a third one immediately. Remember to write down things like your breakfast, your lunch, whatever you require in the way of survival. If you've got medication, okay, add that into the list to make certain that you're taking it on time. Now, there's a lot of people out there that go, "Oh, I feel better." Right? They feel absolutely terrible for whatever reason. They get on some sort of medication and they turn around and go, "Oh, I feel better, so I don't need the medication." I know of one individual, and therefore there have to be others on this planet, that goes, "I feel better because I'm on medication." Now, I am not one to recommend to stand up and go, "Oh, I'm going to rush out and do medication." My doctor's upset with me anyway on that one. But what I have come to the conclusion of is, for me, success is very simple, and it's very easy to quantify for me. Are the messes that are around me getting cleared up? Am I getting rid of the junk I don't need? To this end, I have shut down spare bank accounts, even though they weren't costing me money. I don't require them anymore. Okay. I have turned around and eliminated a staggering amount of junk, and you're watching it slowly disappear from here. Now, understand, I've got the rest of my house. This office is only 1/10 of the size of my house, which doesn't mean I've got a big house, by the way. Roughly speaking, and it was not measured by any sort of carpenter, so it's only a gauge. Roughly speaking, about 1,000 square feet of room. A 3-bedroom apartment, one floor, no yard work. So and I used to be a professional pack rat. Now the difference to me between a pack rat and a hoarder is this: garbage is thrown out. With a pack rat, garbage gets thrown out. With a hoarder, nothing does. Okay, I've seen some houses where they were hoarders. Okay, and I tell you, not only is it way too cluttered, and I used to be the kind of person who lived in a home where I would sit here and I'd have a stack of boxes here and a stack of boxes here, right? I knew exactly how to pack like an extra inch, I'm sure of it, into every inch I had. Okay, I never got to the point of being a hoarder. I always made sure that the garbage itself, food wrappers, food rinds, whatever, got to the garbage, got thrown out. Okay, I never kept them. Okay, now this does not make me better than anybody. It's just me personally. I only got to the point of being a staggering pack rat. I was good at it. And my dad always told me, not to worry, letter opener. My dad always told me, if you're going to do something, do it well. I don't think, in all fairness, he was referring to becoming a pack rat. However, that's just the way it went with me. So, when I talk about success, it boils down to this. For me, success means get rid of all the junk I don't require. And my next challenge, okay, and again, we're talking, again, the 21-day mark that I use. Okay, and seems to work. My next goal is to make sure, starting on April 1st, that the only direction my bank account goes is up. Now, why do I desire a big bank account? Well, because I'm almost 58 years old. And at some point, I'm going to have to retire. As in, I'm not going to be functionally able to work. Hopefully, that'll be about, well, if I follow my dad's footsteps, he was 81 when he passed and was working until he was 80. Okay. Now, that said, if I can pull that off, that means I've still got another 20 years or so. Hey, I'm not going to complain. The first 58 years of my life, I have struggled. Now, a lot of that's been my own stubborn stupidity. And I call it stupidity because now I can look back on it and go, I did know better. I could have gotten better guidance. I could have gotten better help. I could have trusted my own instincts more. I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda, I didn't. You may be in the same boat. Take a look at where you are right this moment. Okay. Take a look. Ask yourself, where am I? Am I content? If the answer is yes, you're content, then more power to you. Have a great, happy life. Keep it up. You're doing great. If you're not content, if there's anything about your life you're not happy with, look at changing it. It doesn't matter what you change it to. Because if you change something you're not happy with, you can change it again. Okay. Now, the neat part about it is this. Take a look where you are. Do not ask, how did I get here? Because frankly, I can tell you, being a specialist at getting lost, how you got to where you are is not half as important as where you go from where you are. How focused you stay, how much you can trust in you, and that's going to be a challenge to go, okay, I know where I am. I don't like here. I'm going to go there. You don't necessarily know what's out there. Now, I got asked one day by somebody on a slightly more specific topic, and what I got asked was, "Why should I believe what you're saying?" Well, my response was a little less than amicable. Okay, because my response was pretty black and white. It was like, "Why should I care what you think about whether or not you think I'm being honest? What matters is whether I think I'm being honest or whether I know I'm being honest." And in today's world, whether or not the psychiatrists, the people that have the legal right, and in all fairness, responsibility to take care of the people that are mentally not capable or physically not. Okay, I've been to 3 different psychiatrists, all of which have told me, mentally speaking, you're perfectly fine. You got a heck of a temper for dealing with when it comes to dealing with what you consider stupid people. But other than that, mentally, your brain is working fine. Now, that comes from people that I've talked to, in some cases, for decades, trying to make sure my mind works right. Now, here's the thing. I tell people regularly, and yourselves included, I am a consultant. I have consulted people since I was 10 years old. I've had people coming to me, and this has been verified by who knows how many people. I'm well over 80,000 clients under my belt. Okay. And it's been that kind of venue that I look at and go, okay, yes, I consult people on what works is working and how to make it work. The thing is, the tools I offer, if they apply to me, I'm using them. If they don't apply to me, with 80,000 clients under my own belt, these are people I've personally dealt with. I look at it and go, these tools I've offered them, like for instance, how to quit smoking. Well, I never started, and I'll be danged if I'm going to start to find out if I was right. I'll just take the other smokers that quit and tell then go by their word and say, yeah, it works. I've counseled people on home stuff, relationships, you name it, I've dealt with it on that end. I've dealt with counseling people on business. Okay. Even industries I'm not involved in. So when I talk about being a professional, a spiritual guide, I've also guided people oftentimes back to a church, back to a temple, because the brotherhood there is critical. Okay, having people of like mind to bounce things off, to feel a little bit more comfortable, like you belong somewhere, is imperative. I grew up feeling like an outcast amongst outcasts. There were people that tried really hard to make certain that I felt like I was accepted. And to those people specifically, thank you very much. Okay, I'm hoping you know who you are. Okay, and no, I'm not going to list names. There's a lot of reasons for that. Okay. Now, I also am a specialist in alien races, ancient races, and alien technologies. Ancient races are the races that evolved on this planet, and rest assured, mankind was not the only one that did. Okay, alien races are ones that evolved off planet and have come to here. Now, people keep asking me about disclosure. When's it going to happen? Well, frankly, humans have trouble dealing with different colored skin. Okay, can you picture what's going to happen when skeletal differences show up? Okay, you look at somebody that has, for instance, somebody that simply has an ancient illness called polio. Okay, people look at them and go, oh, can't go near them. Back in the Middle Ages, leprosy made people, and they were humans, but made most people back away. Even most religious leaders, spiritual guides at that point, okay, stayed away from the ill. Okay, now, I frankly, much as I definitely have my limits, okay, I have come to the conclusion that every single corporeal individual out there, every physical individual, every non-physical one, all beings have worth. They are all of the same value. Not according to their pocketbook, because frankly, if there's one thing that does not impress me, it's the size of somebody's pocketbook. What they do with it matters. That's where the real heart is. What somebody looks like does not make any difference. Okay, now, yes, I am very much reclusive. I don't go around, I don't go out into the middle of the world very much. Okay, however, I do speak at public venues when invited. Right now, it's been very simple. I have spoken at UFO conferences, okay, and I will quite readily go and do so again. Go to UFO conferences, talk about the alien races, talk about their agendas, and rest assured, taking over the planet is not high on their list. As a matter of fact, it's not on their list. At least not as far as I've seen. Okay, and we'll get into that in a little while. I've got another video to do right after this one. Speaking of which, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel to make sure that you get all the videos that are out, because there's a staggering amount of information that's coming out. Okay, and of course, if you've got questions, at the bottom of each video, you'll find a list of ways of contacting me. Okay, absolutely drop me a line. If you've got questions, drop me a line. I will do my best to get in touch with you to answer whatever questions you have. The first Friday of every month, in this case, that means next Friday. Okay, I wonder what date that is. But next Friday at 9 p.m. until 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that will be on April 2nd, I will be on Spaced Out Radio. Okay, at spacedoutradio.com. Look it up on the internet. Okay. Now, so I talk about the alien races. I talk about spirituality. I guide people in their personal life and in their business life. I am not a millionaire. I do not have great big degrees. Okay, but I was also told where it came to degrees, all that really boiled down to was that the person getting the degree had a good memory at the time they wrote the paperwork. Now, this does not mean education is not of any value. As a matter of fact, education is critical. I could not be talking to you if I didn't have the education to put a thought line together. Or if somebody else did not have the education to figure out how to make this machine that I'm talking on right now. Now, most of the information I have is written in various different books. Okay, all of which are available through me only at this point, although I'm working on that venue. Okay, like we've got all kinds of these things now. Not all of them are available. All the ones I've written are not necessarily here. Like I don't necessarily have them easily available. I'm in the process of getting a bunch of them caught up. Okay, but they are all available through me, and I'm working on other venues. Okay, written everything from reference manuals. Well, that would be the first one. That's a novel. Okay, that's one of 2 self-help books, and that is a reference manual. Now, I also have a children's book I've done, and I've got a poetic anthology I'm in the middle of putting together. All of these things are little victories that I've had myself. Okay, and because of that, I can look in the mirror right now, and in this case, I can look in the camera and go, I'm becoming what I consider successful. I'm happy with where my life is. One of my next major goals is to put things together between me and my family. Okay, I have made some absolutely flaming stupid moves. Okay, and I have lost my temper more often than I care to count. And when you lose your temper, I'll tell you, it creates a problem. So I'm going to be back again tomorrow morning. Okay, I think tomorrow morning. I'll be back at least sometime tomorrow. Okay, but for now, I keep these to the 30-minute mark, roughly. So for now, I'm going to cut this off. And I'm going to say, until we talk again, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.